All right, Section 1, Meet the Cast. Knowing who is literally the absolute foundation of acing this exam, so let's get right to it.
Treat this as your rapid-fire reference sheet. You need to memorize these 5 key characters. First, we've got Chitragriva, the wise king of pigeons, our main protagonist. Then there's his dear friend Hiranyaka, the king of mice. Next up is our antagonist, the Vyada, which simply means the hunter. Then we have the Kapota, the everyday pigeons who actually follow Chitragriva. Oh, and finally, you might just see a question about Sudhir. Keep in mind, Sudhir is the modern leader from the introductory section of your text.
Moving on to Section 2, Setting the Trap. Now, first up, we gotta know where the whole story kicks off. Lock in this definition. Shalmali Teru. This is the large silk cotton tree, basically the home base for our pigeons. And hey, for some easy bonus points on your exam, remember exactly where it's located, right on the banks of the Godavari River.
Next up is the word Nirajanam, meaning a deserted or lonely forest. Whenever you see this word on the exam, you should immediately recognize it as the major red flag in the story. Chitragriva uses this concept to challenge his flock. Prompt yourself to ask the exact same question he did. Why on earth would there just be perfectly fresh food lying around in a totally deserted forest?
And what exactly was that highly suspicious fresh food? Well, it was tandula kanan, or rice grains. You want to connect this term directly to the Vyadaha, the hunter. He intentionally scattered these tandula kanan on the forest floor. You guys, this isn't just a snack. It's the fatal bait meant to lure the birds down from the safety of their tree.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this single word is the root of the pigeon's entire downfall. Avacharatam. It translates to a thoughtless or unconsidered action taken without proper reflection. The bait was set, sure, but it was the avacharatam action of the pigeons themselves that actually sprang the trap.
Let's really contrast their reactions here, because this dynamic, it's a classic exam question. Chitragriva's leadership relied entirely on logical caution, and he issued a wise warning against the suspicious food. But the followers' weakness was that they acted avicharitam, thoughtlessly. Why? Because they were labha-krishtah, attracted by greed. They were so blinded by their desire for the rice that they completely ignored their leader.
And well, actions have consequences. Because they gave in to greed, they met the pashan. These are the bonds, or the snares of the net. And this isn't just some abstract metaphor. This is the painful physical consequence of their thoughtlessness. The pashan sharply cut into the trapped birds, pinning them to the ground, totally helpless.
All right, Section 3, the Great Escape. Let's shift the energy up a bit for this action-packed phase of the review. Think about it. When you're suddenly caught in the pashan, what do? Well, a genuinely good leader like Chitragriva doesn't just panic in the net. Instead, he immediately looks for a pratikaraha. This word translates to a remedy or a solution. While the other birds are undoubtedly freaking out, Chitragriva keeps a totally cool head. This introduces his absolute genius of a survival plan.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a very logical 3-step survival strategy. Step 1, they have to become one-minded. Step 2, once they're synchronized, they must fly up together, literally carrying that heavy net right up into the sky. And Step 3, they travel to the Gandaki River to find Chitragriva's friend, Hiranyaka, the king of mice.
We really need to isolate that critical first step because it comes with a massive vocabulary word, ekachiti bhuya. This means becoming one-minded or united in purpose. Just think about the physics here for a second. If half the birds fly left and the other half fly right, they literally go nowhere. Lifting that heady trap required absolute mental synchronization from every single bird. They had to act ekachiti bhuya.
And when they successfully execute this, they earn a new, actually pretty hilarious nickname from the antagonist, Jalapaharakan, which translates to net stealers. Just imagine this from the frustrated hunter's perspective. He thinks he's caught this massive dinner, but instead, he just has to stand there helplessly on the ground, watching a flock of literal net stealers fly away with all his expensive gear.
So, the pigeons fly the net all the way to the Gandaki River to find Hiranyaka. But how on earth does a tiny mouse free an entire flock of birds? The key vocab word here is dantabelana. This means by the strength of teeth. A really quick mnemonic for your exam, just focus on the root danta, like dental. Hiranyaka uses his sharp teeth to expertly cut the bonds and finally free Chitragriva and his followers.
Finally, Section 4, the core lesson. Consider this the overarching thesis statement for your exam.
So the crucial point is really understanding the word samhati. This translates to unity or organization. Listen.
To put that into a perfect, highly testable phrase, remember this quote: "The unity of small things can achieve great tasks." And this brilliantly illustrates the entire plot. A group of relatively small, weak pigeons working together with a tiny little mouse were able to completely defeat a powerful armed hunter. Their individual weakness was totally overcome by collective samhati.